And next we'll be hearing from Brian Calley, President and CEO of the Small Business Association of Michigan, and Charity Dean, President and CEO of Michigan Black Business Alliance, testifying in support.
Good morning. Good morning, Chairman Schutte and members of the committee. I am Charity Dean. I am the President and CEO of the Michigan Black Business Alliance. Our mission is to help close the racial wealth gap by creating programs and advocating for policies that result in profitable and sustainable Black-owned businesses across Michigan. We are a 3-year-old organization with nearly 2,000 members across the state, and we're growing every day. Today, I urge your support for House Bill 4002, which amends the Earned Sick Time Act by creating small business exemptions and simplifying compliance requirements. Our advocacy for this bill is grounded in equity. Equity acknowledges that small businesses, and particularly Black-owned ones, do not operate with the same resources and opportunities as larger ones. Subjecting them to the same regulatory standards ignores their disparities and risks, and it challenges our economy. Black-owned businesses are significantly more likely to face loan denials or receive smaller loans compared to other businesses. 53% of Black-owned businesses identify lack of access to capital as a top challenge. There are revenue gaps for small businesses compared to larger ones and for Black-owned businesses as well. They generate an average of $58,000 in average revenue compared to $546,000 for white-owned businesses. Organizations like Goldman Sachs and the Brookings Institute have studied the racial wealth gap in our country, and specifically, the Kellogg Foundation studied it in the state of Michigan and found that if we close that gap in the state of Michigan, our state stood to gain $92 billion in its economy. Additionally, small businesses and many of our members lack the dedicated compliance teams and HR necessary to navigate the complex regulations. But even more, I'm a small business owner. I own a small cafe called Rosa, named after my great-grandmother in the Rosedale Park neighborhood. And like many of my members, many small businesses, we feel that oftentimes we are over-regulated and under-resourced. Legislation like this compares my small coffee shop like Rosa and puts us under the same regulatory climate as a Starbucks. We're not Starbucks. I think we're better. But I think that we should really we are actually better. But the inequities that impact small businesses impact our commercial corridors. The folks that work at Rosa live in the neighborhood. I know them. I know their families. I know their challenges. Regulations like this interfere with my relationship with my employers, but it also puts me on an unfair playing field. I think the neighbors of Grand Mount Rosedale would be disappointed to see that we would have to compete and actually produce in ways that folks in larger corporations have to do. And so we're asking you to support this bill, because the good news about the bill is that it doesn't eliminate the workers' rights, but it does something that I think even the opposition cares about, which is it brings equity to the process. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I look forward to visiting Rosa sometime. So thank you. Brian.
Very good. And congratulations to Charity and her team and building an outstanding organization. Incredible in 3 years to have built the Michigan Black Business Alliance to what it is today. My name is Brian Calley, and I'm privileged to lead the Small Business Association of Michigan, which is an organization that exists solely to serve Michigan's entrepreneurs and small businesses, which are the lifeblood of Michigan's economy. We have over 30,000 members spread over every single county in our state and every industry that you can think of, and a bunch of industries you probably have never thought of. In my 6 years at the helm at SBAM, I have never seen the level of concern, fear, and frustration that we are seeing from entrepreneurs today and associated with the Earned Sick Time Act. It's easy to take small businesses for granted, but because they are the main economic infrastructure across most of our communities, but they're really quite fragile. About half don't even make it to the 5-year mark. Our surveys show that the vast majority of the members of the Small Business Association of Michigan already offer paid time off. So you shouldn't receive this testimony as small business owners opposing something that they already commonly do without a government mandate. The Earned Sick Time Act is a highly complex, overly specific, and very expensive mandate that forces a one-size-fits-all program across the entire business community who often compete for employees through flexibility in responding to the asks and demands and needs of their employees. So I have 3 points. The first is small business owners do rely on maximum flexibility to compete with larger employers. Those larger employers operate on a much larger scale. Small businesses tend to allow employees to fit their work into their life instead of expecting them to fit their life into their work. But under this act, even front-loaded benefits that meet the mandated level don't relieve business owners from having to keep meticulous track of exactly when employees are working in order to calculate the accruals. This threatens the culture of flexibility that small businesses have worked so hard to develop with their teams. Number 2, small business owners listen to their teams and respond to their compensation needs and requests. The Earned Sick Time Act mandates a very specific and expensive benefit that our surveys show misses the mark when it comes to employee preferences. 75% of our members report that higher compensation is the top ask. Growth opportunities and health insurance coming in at number 2 and 3. Paid time off was number 4, but even then, paid time off, flexible paid time off is the ask, not a narrow type of paid time off. Not surprisingly, our surveys also show that small business owners responded with paying higher wages, giving more flexibility, and expanding benefits that matched the employee demands. The Earned Sick Time Act will divert resources away from things employees want and make small business owners less competitive and employees less satisfied. Third, small business owners do not have a huge staff. And I won't get deep into this because I don't think I could say it any better than Charity did, but there is such a huge disadvantage that small business owners face when it comes to complying with regulations such as this. Finally, let me say that the Earned Sick Time Act has certain provisions that presume small business owner is guilty until proven innocent. Small business owners are the heroes of Michigan's economy. A guilty until proven innocent law is both unreasonable and deeply offensive to people that have the courage to start a small business against such extraordinary odds. Taking this legislation up first sends a strong message that you support entrepreneurs and small businesses. So I want to thank you for putting action, real action, behind the sentiment of being pro-small business. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Representative Whitsitt?
I just wanted to say, very nice to meet you. I have heard about your organization, but it's very nice to put a face to it. I'm at Plymouth and Shaper, so I'm right there. I know what you mean, and that's very much a growing area. So I want to thank you for all the work that you're doing. It makes a huge difference, and that's going to creep on down Grand River. So I'm looking forward to the work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep.
Representative Carter?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you all for showing up here today. Real quick question. When you landed on the 40 employees or less, is that based on a 40-hour week? Because I know some places, if they have 3 shifts or if they expand, they have to expand. And will there be accommodations for that, or is this based on Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 type schedule?
I'm going to let Brian answer, but I will say this, simplicity matters, right? FMLA is 50 employees or less, and that makes sense, and that's where we stand as an organization. But I'll let Brian.
Yeah, I would agree that there is a precedent for a 50 employee threshold that already exists, that is a nationwide standard, and it's one that you would typically find in laws like this. I think that would be a great place to start.
All right. Brian, Charity, thank you very much for testifying.